Hey guys, how are you? I hope that you are okay. I hope that you are having a lot of fun, that you have enjoyed the videos that I have sent you lately. It's been quite an adventure trying to record with these neighbors and the whole rain and the whole. I'm tired because I've been doing homeworks. I don't look as bad as yesterday. But hey, here we are. Okay, so today we're going to continue taking important facts from our stories, and today we will do page 31, 32, 33, and 34 and 35 is going to be done by you. So I'm going to read for you 31, 32, and 33, and then 34 and 35 you're going to have to read it alone and take your own notes, okay? Eventually I'm going to leave you whole chapters to read by yourself, and then you have to take the notes for them, okay? Remember that you have to send your classworks for Friday. So let's do this. Today is a Thursday, if I'm not wrong. Thursday is the 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so today we are going to start reading 31. So the last time that we saw Wade, he was having troubles with his aunt, but that is a very mean woman. She's very greedy, and she took away his computer. Not very nice. Sorry. There we go. Okay, so remember that I'm not taking the annotations, you are taking the annotations. So I hope that you are doing as you're supposed to. I'm gonna be reading and discussing with you, but you're the ones taking the annotations. You just need to continue in the same page that we started, okay? Let's do it. Page 31. I discovered him 4 years earlier while searching for discarded computer parts when I first opened the door and gazed into the van's darkened interior. Remember that I told you that he sleeps in a van, in a car? Well, this is the one. I knew right away that I found something of immeasurable value, privacy. This was a place no one else knew about, where I wouldn't have to worry about getting hassled or slapped around by my aunt or whatever loser she was currently dating. I could keep my things here without worrying that they'd be stolen, and most important, it was a place where I could access the oasis in peace. The van was my refuge, my Batcave, my fortress of solitude. It was where I attended school, because it's online, did my homework, read books, watch movies, and play video games. It was also where I conducted my ongoing quest to find Halliday's Easter egg. I covered the walls, floor, and ceiling with styrofoam egg cartons and pieces of carpet in an effort to soundproof the van as much as possible. Several cardboard boxes of busted laptops and computer parts sat in the corner next to a rack of old car batteries and a modified exercise bike I rigged up as a recharger. The only furniture was a folding lawn chair. A lawn chair is a chair for the patio, for the garden. So far we could take these three first small paragraphs and we could take it into an important idea. So we can say, for an example, Wade was sleeping in a van in an very old car because what he wanted the most was privacy away from his aunt. This is the place where he went to school, watch movies, read books, and just hang out because he was happy there. He covered everything with styrofoam. Styrofoam is that white material that comes in the TV boxes that you can destroy and you can make snow. That's a styrofoam. So nobody would listen to him while he was in there. Let's continue. I dropped my backpack, shrugged off my... I hope you copied. And if you didn't, you can stop it. But that was the main idea, the important fact that I got from that. If you got something different, it's okay. But you need to copy it. I dropped my backpack, shut off my coat, and hopped on the exercise bike. Charging the batteries was usually the only physical exercise I got each day. I pedaled until the meter said the batteries had a full charge, then sat down in my chair and switched to the small electric heater. I kept it beside it. I pulled off my gloves and rubbed my hands in front of the filaments as they began to glow bright orange. I couldn't leave the heater on for very long or it would drain the batteries. So remember that he lives in Ohio. And Ohio is a super cold place in winter. So he's wearing gloves so he can protect his body from the cold temperature, but also he has a heater. It's like a fan, It's the same idea as a fan, but instead of like throw hot air at you, cold air at you, it throws hot air at you, so you keep warm and you don't have hypothermia that can kill you. I opened a rat-proof metal box where I kept my book, food catch, and took out some bottled water and a packet of powdered milk. I mixed this together in a bowl. Then I dumped in a generous serving of Fruit Rock cereal. Once I wolfed it down, I retrieved an old plastic Star Trek lunchbox I kept hidden under the van's crushed dashboard. Inside were my school-issued Oasis console haptic gloves and visor. So he has to wear gloves and a visor, kind of like some goggles or some glasses. These items were by far the most valuable things I own, far too valuable to carry around me. Because remember, he can be robbed because people is really poor, so they need to steal from people. I pulled on my elastic hat-tip gloves and flexed my fingers to make sure none of the joints were sticking. Then I grabbed my Oasis console, a flat black rectangle about the size of a paperback book. It had a wireless network antenna built into it, but the reception inside the van was for another bad word, since it was buried under a huge amount of dense metal. So I rigged up an external antenna and mounted on the hood of a car at the top of the junk pile. So he was ready to go to school, I'm guessing. So what we can write in there is that he charged the electric power necessary for the computers to work with a homemade battery pedal supercharger. He had to pedal in the bicycle to charge up the batteries. And he usually had cereal because he didn't have a kitchen in there. And the most valuable thing that he had was the haptic gloves and the visor for the Oasis. So that would be the main idea of that. The antenna cable snaked up through a hole I punched in the van ceiling. I plugged into a port on the side of the console, then slipped in on my visor. So I guess he was getting Wi-Fi from somewhere in the air. It fit snugly around my eyes like a pair of swimmer's goggles, blocking out all external light. Small earbuds extended from the visor's temples and automatically plugged themselves into my ears. The visor also housed two built-in stereo voice microphones to pick up everything I said. I powered on the console and initiated the login sequence. I saw a brief flash of red as the visor scanned my retinas. Then I cleared my throat and said my login passphrase, being careful to enunciate. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Shur and the Kodan Armada. My passphrase was also verified along with my voice pattern, and then I was logged and the following text appeared superimposed in the center of my Biltord display. So we can write in there that he was getting ready to enter the school with the goggles and the haptic gloves, and he had a phrase specific that recognizes not only what he says but his tone of voice, so nobody else can connect from that. And then a text came in the visor. So everything that he sees from now on is going to be completely covering his eyes. He's not going to see anything around him. Identity verification successful. Welcome to the Oasis, Parzival. Parzival is his name in the Oasis. Login completed. What would be your name if you were in the Oasis? Mine would be Asafir Ali. Is that the name that I gave my angel the other day in my story? Or it would be, what was the name that I liked? Joanne, and another one that I liked. I forgot. It was the name of a stone. As the text faded away, it was replaced by a short message, just 3 words long. This message had been embedded in the login sequence by James Halliday himself when he first programmed the Oasis, as a homage to the simulation's direct ancestors, the coin-operated video game of his youth. These 3 words were always the last things an Oasis user saw before leaving the real world and entering the virtual one. Ready Player One. So in your exam, I'm going to ask you why the book is called Ready Player One. And page 32, you're going to find the answer to that. We can write in there as a main idea of the paragraph that Ready Player One is the phrase that names the book because it makes homage, honor to all those video games that have been around the world for so many centuries. When you used to go to, after school, when I was little, you used to go to the pulperias and play in the little machines. I don't know how you call them. I used to call them maquinitas or Atari. And you would always get punished by your mom because you spent a lot of coins in that. But it always said Ready Player One or Ready Player Two if there were like other people with you. But that's something that it came now with time in games like Mario Bros or Mario Party and stuff. It would appear T, 2, 1, Ready Player One, and then you would go. So Ready Player One makes honor to all the video games in the world that have been around our whole lives, and they're the ancestors of games or consoles like PlayStation and Xbox and all those things. I said that I would explain till 33. One more and then you'll be done, okay? And then you're gonna do it by yourself. 0002. My avatar materialized in front of my locker on the second floor of my high school, so he goes to school virtually. Can you imagine how fun it would be if we could like log in the Oasis and go to school? The exact spot where I'd been standing when I logged out the night before. I glanced up and down the hallway. My virtual surroundings looked almost, but not quite real. Everything inside the Oasis was beautifully rendered in 3 dimensions. Unless you pulled focus and stopped to examine your surroundings more closely, it was easy to forget that everything you were seeing was computer generated. That was with my crappy school-issued Oasis console. I heard that if you access the simulation with a new state-of-the-art immersion rig, it was almost impossible to tell the Oasis from reality. An immersion rig, it's a chair with such technology that you sit and you feel that you're inside the computer. It's beautiful. It's not real, but it's beautiful. I think that Sony and some other companies have made goggles that take you into virtual reality. They're really interesting. I've never been in those. I would never been in those because they say they take you into is it Ferris wheel? No. Is it a roller coaster? And you feel like you're gonna die. No, not for me. Thank you. I touched my locker room and it popped open with a soft metallic click. The inside was sparsely decorated. A picture of Princess Leia posing with a blaster pistol. Princess Leia belongs to Star Wars. A group photo of the members of Monty Python in their Holy Grail costumes. I don't know that one. James Halliday's Time magazine cover. I reached up and tapped the stack of textbooks in the locker's top shelf, and they vanished. Then reappeared in my avatar's item inventory. So he just had to touch the books and he would come into his backpack immediately because it's in a virtual reality stuff. Aside from my textbooks, my avatar had only a few meager possessions: a flashlight, an iron sword, a small bronze shield, and a suit of banded leather armor. He looks like what is it? Link from Princess Zelda games. Yeah, I played those. Those are good. These items were all non-magical and low quality, but they were the best. I could afford items in the Oasis. Had just as much value as things in the real world, sometimes more. And you couldn't pay for them with food vouchers. The Oasis credit was the coin of the realm, and in these dark times, it was also one of the world's most stable currencies, valued higher than the dollar, pound, euro, or yen. So in there we can see that he went to school and he was looking at his locker, looking at his things in the virtual reality. I'm already telling you the basic idea of this, so you better start thinking about it. And also he was talking at how you can buy amazing things in the Oasis, but because it's so nice in there, it's really difficult to be able to get a lot of things because in the Oasis, everything wants to be there, so things are expensive, and they use a specific kind of currency that is more expensive than the dollar, and he didn't have money to buy anything. So that was the main idea of that. You make your own idea. A small mirror was mounted inside my locker door, and I caught a glimpse of my virtual selves as I closed it. I designed my avatar's face and body to look more or less like my own. My avatar had a slightly smaller nose than me, and he was taller and thinner and more muscular, and he didn't have any teenage acne, but aside from these minor details, we looked more or less identical. The school's strictly enforced dress code required that all students' avatar be human and of the same gender and as age as the student. No giant two-headed hermaphrodite demon unicorn avatars were allowed. Not on school ground anyway. So I guess that in the Oasis you can be whoever you want, but in the Oasis school you have to be a human, and if you have to be a male or a female depending on your real gender, and you have to be able to be recognized by the student that you are. You cannot be changing your avatar every time, and you cannot be a crazy animal because it wouldn't fit with the educational purpose of the school. So I'm going to read till there. You are going to read 34 and 35 by yourself. Um, okay, well, interesting. Yeah. 34 and 35 is going to be the 34, 35 and part of 36, because it's only a small part of 36, and then it's a really small paragraph in the beginning of 36, and then we continue with this later. Remember, you have to send me all the important facts that we have copied this week on Friday, and until the next time, see you later. Remember, in your notebook, well copied. If you didn't understand, rewind the video and look at everything. Bye, guys.